Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Let's Talk Physical Media, the show we do live each and every single week, where you guessed it, we talk about all the news in the world of physical media. And of course, this is also a live show, so if you guys want to interact or whatnot, feel free to do that. We got plenty of news to talk about today. We'll get right into it. The big one actually just got announced right before we went live. Leaving Las Vegas. I mean, I don't think this is officially yet, but I guess this is what Shout's going to be doing for December. Nicolas Cage won his only Academy Award for this movie, and this is one of the tougher rewatches you got out there. So I don't know if this is one I'll be running back to. Ooh. Oh, look at that. Let me turn that off real quick. As per usual, I saw Mozart's Ghost is in here. And for everybody that is here to help this one go, make sure you throw in a like button as well. What's up, Mozart's Ghost? I'm glad you can make it, buddy. I actually saw a comment on here earlier I want to address from you. Man, can't stay long, but what's up, John? Hope you're doing good, buddy. I'm doing pretty well today, man. Thanks for stopping in, William. I understand you got to run out of here, but I appreciate you stopping in. Just hope you're doing as good as well, buddy. I'm doing pretty good myself. But leaving Las Vegas, I don't know how you guys feel about this one, but this is a very, very, very tough watch. Nicolas Cage has always been a phenomenal actor. He's always given it all. If you go all the way back to the 1980s, like Moonstruck was a performance that really struck everybody, a little tie in there. Then you got like Wild at Heart. And, Nicolas Cage known for his like overacting, but of course he gives a much more reserved performance as an alcoholic in this movie who's going to Las Vegas to kill himself. That's literally the plot of the movie. Obviously, it's a pretty... not really maybe some twists in there, but the story itself is very emotional and obviously dealing with addiction in Las Vegas. The irony in that is not struck upon everybody, but it's a very, very tough watch. Let's see. Show the comment. Am I still on here? There's nothing. There we go. I hope that nothing froze on there. I've actually never seen Leaving Las Vegas. I pick up a lot of Screaming Shout titles, so I'll possibly get it. I wouldn't say I would say it's one of the least likely rewatchable films that you'll ever see. But if you want to see why Nicolas Cage won Best Actor that year, I definitely think it's worth it. I think that was 1996. I never saw Leaving Las Vegas. It sounds dark and depressing. Yeah, that's basically what it is. It's a very dark and depressing movie that never really ever picks up from that. You got to be in the right mood. But yeah, I enjoy a dark, depressing movie every now and again. I just can't say that they're the most rewatchable films. Like, I like Terms of Endearment. I guess that would be a dark, depressing movie, but I also think it's got some very funny moments in there. Kind of feels a little bit like a sitcom, but the way that movie ends, it's going to make you cry each and every single time. And when you really think about it, at the end of Terms of Endearment, when a mother has to say goodbye to her kids because she's about to die of cancer, there's really no way to put a positive twist on that. What's up, Ben Rondo? I'm glad you can pop in here as well, buddy. Let's see what else. One thing, obviously, the really big news, speaking of just staying on Shout and Select, so I guess this will be December as well. There's no official announcement yet. This just popped up on their website the other day. Day of the Dead. This was the third in the George A. Romero, Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, then Day of the Dead. This one came out in 1985, I believe. I would say that this is my second favorite from George A. Romero, behind obviously just Dawn of the Dead as my favorite. Night of the Living Dead, while being obviously very important without that film coming out in the 1960s and the subject to try and tackle, while also being probably one of the all-time great zombie films, set the rules for a lot of zombie films going forward. It makes sense that, that one's very important, but I wouldn't say it's my favorite of the films. This one taking place in the 1980s is something I've always personally loved. So that's something that stood out to me when they brought it up in Stranger Things a couple of years ago, and you get like that sting in the score on the show. Works perfectly. And, this one kind of surprised me because it was announced, like, I want to say last month, that they had found the original camera negative, which was lost, and that's why they couldn't have this one. That's why it was stuck for so long on just Blu-ray, because the camera negative was in either bad shape or they couldn't find it. But they said last month they found the negatives and a new 4K scan was coming soon. Now, that's the same thing that happened with the Hitcher. They announced that it was going to be coming to 4K Blu-ray a couple of years ago, like 3 years ago, and they said that the elements were in bad shape, so it was going to take some time. Made sense. And then we finally got it on 4K Blu-ray last year. So it's strange, guys. So it was strange that this year we were going to be getting that on 4K Blu-ray. even though it just was announced that they got the film elements. Even on September, I think just 2 days ago or 2 or 3 days ago, that it actually scanned in Los Angeles. I mean, it's not scanned, it's screened in Los Angeles for people, the new 4K scan. And apparently now it's going to be cut. That new scan is going to be coming to 4K Blu-ray, my guess, in December. No official date yet, but you can pre-order it. So pretty weird how that works. I'm guessing it looks great. Maybe it's just a quicker process now than it was a couple of years ago, but I've seen them do these 4K restorations, and it seems very, very tedious. Like you have to go in there, basically digitally take out all of the grain from the film and everything, and then apply it when you put the high dynamic range over. Like, it looks like a nightmare. Did you get the Sony Night of the Living Dead Steelbook yet? Sounds like it's going to be another one hard to get. So I actually have a story about that, funny enough. So he's referring to the new Night of the Living Dead, the 1990s Tom Savini 4K Steelbook that just came out yesterday. I had that pre-ordered the first day you were able to pre-order it because I wanted it. And things in October were looking a little bit expensive. There was a lot of stuff coming out in October and early November, and I'm not the world's biggest Night of the Living Dead fan, so I was like, I don't know if I'm going to get this one. I'll wait, and then maybe I'll get it a little bit later. This being a Sony release, though, it did sell out, and then it became really hard to get. And then a friend of mine who comments a lot on YouTube, has his own YouTube channel as well, he asked me if I wanted to do a live stream with him and a couple other people talking about the Night of the Living Dead 4K Steelbook. Now, the thing is I actually canceled that Steelbook pre-order because, like a lot of you guys, I'm not rich, so I can't afford everything that comes out. And I had to make a tough decision. I thought maybe that's one I can wait for later, even though now he asked me to do that. And I was like, shit, I can't pre-order it anymore. So kind of got burned on that one. I'm hoping that a standard edition comes sometime down the line, but we haven't seen Sony do that. Like, that hasn't been the norm. They put out some 4K Blu-rays that and steelbooks that have, I don't know if you can even still get them, like La Femme Nikita, like that never got a standard 4K Blu-ray release. St. Elmo's Fire that came out a couple months ago, that only got a 4K Steelbook release. I don't think it ever got a standard release. So I don't know if we're going to get that with Night of the Living Dead. And honestly, I need to save a little bit of money as well. So I'm like, Silverado's coming out on October 7th. And with the Nightmare on Elm Street 4K Steelbooks coming out next week, I don't know how the funds will be. I'm like, maybe do I get Silverado or not? But I also don't want to miss out now. So I don't like this whole thing that's going on where the collectors feel like we're getting burned. The people who would be buying these 4K Steelbooks, like we have to pre-order them and get them now. And at that price point of almost $40, it's a little bit ridiculous if you ask me. So I'm not really a big fan of this. And it seems to be becoming the new norm. We talked about the Tron 4K Steelbooks. So many people haven't even gotten them yet, even though they pre-ordered them. I don't like how we're creating this kind of market where people are reselling them on eBay. If people want the movies, they should be readily available. It's really, really frustrating to me that they're not readily available like this. Like, the film industry is not doing the greatest. Like, you can see the box office and, physical media sales. If you want to create more cinephiles, you got to make it easy for people to see these movies. And there's a golden opportunity here for physical media to become at least bigger than it is right now, because look at how much streaming services cost right now. You just probably heard today, Disney, Hulu, and that Disney Hulu ESPN bundle. I have live TV through Hulu. They're all going to be getting a bump, like a $2 bump. You're like, it's only $2, right? But remember when Disney Plus launched a couple years ago, it was like $7.99. Now it's like $21.99. Netflix is like $25. HBO Max is like $20. Peacock had the balls to go up to $17. I canceled them right away because the only thing that I actually even kept them around for was WWE, and you lost those pay-per-views to ESPN, which I won't pay that extra money for them either. But still, like, look at what they're doing to people, like, forcing you to like pick and choose streaming services because they're so expensive. Physical media, though, baby, you can still get that and bring it home and you'll own it forever. But now they're making those prices too high too. And I wouldn't blame anyone for getting frustrated. I mean, I'm getting a little frustrated if I'm being honest. The scan looked great. We will see. I heard it's great too. They will press some more, John. Don't worry. I hope so, because I do want to get it. Just can't get everyone on day one. I feel yeah, that's the thing. Like, I want to review everything too, but it's financially impossible. So I just can't really do that. I would love to review every single 4K Blu-ray that comes out, but if they're going to be $40, that's a little bit tough. Like, I can always appreciate it when one of these studios will put out a 4K Blu-ray and it's like $25. Say what you will about Kino Lorber, and I've said a lot, but like usually their 4K Blu-rays, like will hover around that $28 range, and Scream and Shout haven't really gone up too much. They're about 35. Arrow Video's about 35. But then you have Sony, like a major studio, and Disney, like demanding like $40 because it's a title that everybody wants. Everybody, they know that the horror community wants Night of the Living Dead. They know that like the Western fans are gonna want Silverado, so of course they're gonna like kind of hold us a little bit hostage. Like the Tron movies have like a big cult following, and they knew that like people wanted these, and it's a good way to promote Tron Ares. But in the United States, all we got was the 4K Steelbook option. So it gets a little bit frustrating in that sense. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but that's just my little rant on that. I apologize. I get a little bit frustrated, like that people can't get their 4K Blu-rays that they want to get. I saw the Groove is selling out of Africa 4K pre-order for just $19.99. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's what I mean. Now, I know why they're selling that for $19.99, and I know why One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is like $32 for the 4K Steelbook, and that's not selling out. Meanwhile, the F1 4K Steelbook is selling out. It's just because, these are classic films that might not appeal to everybody. It's sad. I wish that everybody would get excited for movies like Out of Africa or One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. These are both Best Picture winners, but Best Picture winners don't necessarily appeal to everybody. Like when you think of the 1980s, do you think of Gandhi and Out of Africa? No, you don't think of those movies. I don't think of those movies, but they did win Best Picture. But hey, at least for people who do like those movies, $20, that's a steal in my opinion. It's very rare we get anything like that coming out at those prices. Even I thought $32 for the Steelbook of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest was actually pretty fair if you were to ask me. Especially in comparison, like I don't know, like $40 for Tron and Tron Legacy is a little bit high in my opinion. But yeah, back to like Day of the Dead. This is pretty cool. Now, this artwork isn't fully confirmed, but it does look like that's what it's going to end up being, and I like that because as much as I like them when they do their alternate artworks, and I wouldn't be surprised if this gets a 4K Steelbook sometime down the line. I just don't know if it'll be an initial release. We'll just have to wait and see. Another one that's 4K Steelbook put up for pre-order. I think it was like $48 too. We'll talk about that in a second. Some of the stuff isn't really working, but right here, Fantastic Four on 4K Blu-ray, 4K Steelbook. That's one. I don't feel like I'm fully compelled to go out and buy that just because I like the movie. I saw the movie a lot like Superman. I didn't feel the need to rush out and go get those on 4K Blu-ray. Those you'll buy in a sale eventually. That's something that's going to be very, very, very readily available, are things like this, because we'll get them on 4K standard no matter what. You might lose out on a slipcover. That's the one thing. You might not get that. Like, obviously, you won't get like things like this, like the Steelbook, which I do think is really nice. That 60s vibe that the film had going throughout it. That's one thing I really did appreciate. I like that it felt like a film that did take place in the 1960s, obviously with its own twist on it because it's a fictional version. It's not even taking place in our universe. I think it was Earth 828. And I thought that they went the safe route on that one, if I'm being honest. Thought it was fine. Enjoyed it enough. It'll probably be a very good 4K Blu-ray. Disney has gotten better with their Dolby Atmos tracks, and I'm sure this has a Dolby Atmos track. And I think it'll be good. I don't know if I would spend this money on it. Like I said, I think it's $48 right now to pre-order. I don't think it's going to stay at that price. And I believe there's an Amazon exclusive. I think this is it right here. And I don't know. I don't think I'm going to be grabbing this one day one. But what do you guys think of this one? Very, very, very curious about it. The most recent news I saw said that Edward Scissorhands is coming in November. That was a 20th Century Fox, so I guess Sony is distributing that one too. Yeah, that would make sense. That would be strictly that would be a Sony 4K Blu-ray release done with Disney, if I had to guess. And that's one like I want it. I want that on 4K Blu-ray. I mean, like Pee-wee's Big Adventure is coming out in December. I'm not the biggest Pee Wee Herman fan. Not really a big fan of Pee-wee's Big Adventure, but he's one of those directors, a lot like Corpse Bride, coming out on 4K Blu-ray, where I want to have all the Tim Burton movies on 4K Blu-ray. Like, I don't think I need to get I don't need to complete every collection, but there's certain directors I would like to have their filmography just because I know eventually I'm going to want to re-rank them and do that. I want to have them on 4K Blu-ray. So it's a lot like John Carpenter. Like, I do not like The Ward. I do not like Ghosts of Mars. I don't think those are good movies at all, but I want to have those in my collection anytime I'm watching a John Carpenter film. And if they're going to all be on 4K Blu-ray, I'm not going to lie. I lie to myself sometimes where even Batman and Robin on 4K Blu-ray, I say, I'm never going to get it. I'm never going to watch that on 4K Blu-ray again. There's no reason to. It's Batman and Robin. I just know myself that the time is going to come where I'm going to want to revisit all those Batman movies. and I'm gonna walk over to my shelf and I'm gonna be like, it's time to rewatch Batman and Robin, and be like, I told you, I knew this was gonna happen. It's gonna happen someday, and I'm gonna want to, even though I have the Blu-ray, I'm gonna be like, I gotta get the 4K Blu-ray, just because knowing it's out there sometimes can be a little bit hard to go back and watch like a Blu-ray when like the 4K Blu-ray is available, unless the Blu-ray is better, because that does happen as well. I've had it, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a good example of a 4K Blu-ray being much, much worse than the regular standard edition Blu-ray that came out. They just warmed that one up too much, and just like they darkened heat way too much and put that blue filter over it. I just really didn't appreciate it. But I am pretty damn excited that this will get the 4K Blu-ray release, because I know a lot of people think that this is a return to form, I guess, for Marvel. I felt like they're just trying to steady the ship. So I know a lot of people will be happy that this is finally coming to 4K Blu-ray, which is pretty damn cool. But, not something I can say I'm super duper excited about. Again, what do you guys think? You think this is something you could get excited about? Let me know. Right here, this is something that's pretty, this is Wednesday, so we won't really talk about this till next Wednesday. But our video, they were able to keep their announcements under wraps. Nobody has really leaked anything except for what this possibly is. Apparently, people think this is going to be Wild Style. What is this? Wild Style. I've never actually seen this movie. I don't know if you guys have seen that. I liked when I was new to 4K and everything I wanted was considered old and they had plenty in stock. The pre-ordering life is hard, LOL. It's everything, isn't it, though? It's not even everything feels like it's becoming like you have to get it. You have to get it on day one, or everything is a rush. You got to pre-order everything the first day. You got to go see movies opening weekend. Like, it feels like you have to be a part of something. Concerts, like my wife wanted to go see Cardi B in concert. I have no desire to see Cardi B in concert, but that's what my wife's into. And so I'm like, okay, let's look at the tickets. It's like the cheapest ones are like $360, and that's absolutely insane. I saw the WrestleMania tickets, like the cheapest ones were like $900. So everything is becoming more expensive, but our salaries aren't going up. So it's like everything. It's not even just 4K Blu-rays, but yeah, I remember like in the early days of 4K Blu-rays. I mean, we were getting lucky for a long time. I can't lie. We were getting the better end of the deal there, where like the Lionsgate limited 4K steelbooks that they're selling now for like $40. You could just go to the Best Buy and they were like $20. So I do think like sometimes it did swing back in our favor there. We got lucky on sometimes. We still get sales. Like, they haven't pulled any sales from us. Like, we still get 2 Criterion sales, so you're not backed in a corner. Yeah, you might get a little bit of FOMO and feel like, yeah, I want to watch this now, but you can wait till the sales. So, like, that's not the end of the world either. Was that per ticket or 2? No, I know that was just for. Oh no, that was 1 ticket. I mean, over here in New York, like, and she's from New York, but it's just that's what tickets are right now. And the demand is there. We talk about supply and demand. I talk about it when we were talking about the Tron 4K Blu-rays. This is not an issue. Like, they're creating this issue. The studios themselves are creating this issue. Like, the tickets availability is creating this issue. I did not like what they did with the new Christopher Nolan movie coming out next year. What is that called? I'm drawing a blank on it. But anyway, the new Christopher Nolan movie coming out next year. Why are they making you pre-order tickets a year in advance for the 70mm screenings of it? Like, for 1 screening, also only the 7:00 showtime, so you're gonna miss out on opening night. But people want to go and see that. Like, now you're creating a demand issue. There's only still 17 70mm IMAX screens in the entire United States, so you made it already hard to go to it, and now it's even harder. So I don't like things like that. The Odyssey, right? Yes, that's it. Okay, yeah, like that. People are thrilled, and the reason why people are excited is because of Oppenheimer. So now we're creating event film watching, but going to the movie theaters shouldn't be the most expensive thing in the world. Like, it's not Broadway where you need to buy 2 tickets for like $400 and it's a huge night out. You go into the city and this kind of thing. Like, there's movie theaters in every town, or at least there should be. Now, I understand charging a little bit extra for like, these super theaters, like the 70mm screens, the regular IMAX screens, the Dolby theaters. That makes sense. But your standard theaters should at least be watchable, should be still better than your home theaters. And they should still at least be affordable, in my opinion. I don't like this like kind of almost gatekeeping thing that they do in movie theaters, and because like the movie business is struggling, now you're just kind of taking from the last people that have been hanging on. Where I think it should be more readily available. I don't like that. Like, I think people should be able to watch movies at home with pretty good theaters. home theaters, and still be, for people who want to get on the higher end, like they can do it as well. But we can all experience that at home in pretty good quality. That way you can sell more physical media, sell more movies to cinephiles, kind of make everything available. It makes a little bit of sense to me. I don't know if it makes sense to you guys, but that's something like I think we need more of, is like trying to bring more film fans in. That way you sell more physical media, because I do think physical media, you get more bang for your buck than you do with streaming. Sometimes streaming works out. I actually recently subscribed to the Criterion channel. That's I think $10.99 a month. I want to check it out because something that Mozart's Ghost was talking about. He was talking about physical media club. What's it called? The Physical Media High Council. I don't know if you guys are fans of The Ringer, but their YouTube channel, and I listen to their podcast. So like The Big Picture and everything like that. Sean Fantasy's on it, but on The Big Picture, they actually did something a little bit different recently. Let me see if I can find a picture of the. So this is Ringer Movies right here. If you guys subscribe to that on YouTube, you can watch it here. But they did something called the Physical Media High Council. And basically it was like 4 people just talking about physical media. Now, The Big Picture in general is mostly they cover current events, current movies that are coming out in theaters. They go to they go to TIFF, they go to Cannes, they go to all the film festivals, and they're going to see those movies. They review movies that are in theaters. But Sean Fantasy, fellow Long Islander, by the way, he happens to be a big physical media fan. Chris Ryan, he's not really the biggest physical media fan, but he's getting into it. They got Tracy Letts, and I forget the fourth person, but they were basically talking about their physical media collections, and they're talking about the things we talk about here. They talking about like boutique labels, talking about Umbrella. They were really getting into Australia. They didn't talk too much about like Arrow Video or anything, which kind of hurt. They talked a little bit. They brought up cruising. I had a huge grin watching that show, right? Didn't you feel like we were being noticed? Like, that's the thing Mozart's goes. Like, it felt like our little world was kind of getting into the real movie world. And that's where we need to be. Like, we need more people talking about the beauty of physical media. Of course, and I'm glad that Sean Fantasy said this. Like, he's like, I get really jealous of other people. I'm like, okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one, because like, they're talking about their numbers. And like, I think Chris Ryan had like 150, and I think the highest had like 11,500. That might have been Tracy Letts. I can't remember the other guy's name, but like I think Sean Fantasy had like 4,000. I'm like, because I got like 1,200, I would say. And I usually take a lot of movies out because of space, and if I'm gonna watch them again. But I'm like, at least I'm not the only one who gets that jealous feeling of like when I see something that, FOMO's a real thing. And especially now, if they're going to price us out a little bit, I get a little bit even more worried. But yeah, I just thought that was great. I had a ton of fun. Honey, look, I am normal. Then they brought up their wives, like, I felt that. I'm sure a lot of you guys are married too. Like, what do our wives like think of like us doing that? I know my wife thinks I'm crazy. Like, because we own 2 copies of Clueless, and I don't think my wife could give a shit. But I bought that for her. Like, it's her favorite movie. I have to have the steelbook Blu-ray, and I have to have the 4K Blu-ray when it comes out. I don't think there's a big difference in the two. I don't even really care to rewatch, but I'm like, try and get her involved. She give a shit less. But to circle back from this, like, I recently subscribed to the Criterion channel. And I actually think because of The Big Picture, like they were talking about it, and they even had a sale. Like if you use their code, I didn't have the money to still buy it annually, so I had to buy it monthly. But that way I could test out some movies before I buy them in a Criterion sale. Because like I've been watching a lot of Robert Altman movies. Not a lot of Robert Altman movies have been upgraded to 4K Blu-ray. So it's like, do I wait or do I buy these on Blu-ray now? Like, is 3 Women ever going to receive an upgrade? I don't know. Probably not, but I can definitely see movies like Nashville receiving a 4K Blu-ray upgrade, or MASH because of their importance. The Player definitely, and which would be, for me, would be a full circle moment. My first Criterion Blu-ray ever was Robert Altman's The Player, and I'm glad I got it because that was something that was also a gift for my wife, who doesn't support my physical media love. But despite that, she was able to give me my first Criterion Blu-ray as a Christmas gift one year, and that was Robert Altman's The Player from 1992, which is a phenomenal film if you've never seen that one. But also to circle back to like talking about the physical media, the higher table, as we'll call them, one day we'll all be a part of that. It's just cool to see them going around showing off their physical media, showing off like why they like it, making us feel noticed. And the question they were asking, and this is something that I was kind of disagreeing with some of them, was like, it does kind of suck with the price of some of these things because they include things that we might not necessarily love. I'm more of like somebody who's into like the film. I don't necessarily need the most beautiful collector's edition. I'll take something that just looks good. I just like take out as long as the box art is there, as long as the disc is good, I'll take that. I don't need all the extra stuff. They were talking about the conversation and how that's like an $80 steelbook because of everything that comes with it through Lionsgate Limited. And I haven't pulled the trigger on getting that 4K Blu-ray yet because of that. I'm like, I like the conversation, but it's not one of my favorite Francis Ford Coppola films. It's definitely not the best film that came out in 1974 from Francis Ford Coppola, but I do want it just because I want to have it in my collection, but I can't justify that price. And yes, I completely agree. Bionic Fire Truck, Criterion Forever, best commentary. Yeah, I mean, Criterion, that's still my favorite boutique label. I understand that that's not a boutique label for everyone. And when they were talking about the Criterion Closet, did it make you want to go to the mobile Criterion Closet? I'm like, I'm not somebody who gets into like taking the pictures and everything like that, but it is cool. Like the Criterion collection, that is definitely for the film fans. I would say like how A24 is like almost like, the modern day, like kind of art house for the film fan studio. I think Criterion's still like the ones like Arrow Video's like kind of getting close to them, but only Criterion is going to put out certain movies, and that I know not any other studio is going to touch and put them out on 4K, beautiful 4K Blu-ray. And it kind of feels like he said, like the commentary, but also the extras in general. They've gotten a little bit lazy on like the audio lately, I'm not gonna lie, and like sometimes they haven't included new extras, but I still love them. I can't find the standard slip anymore. Feels like when it comes to the conversation, yeah, I lost when it comes to the conversation. Yeah, I couldn't do it. Like, uh, I couldn't spend that kind of money on one 4K. It's just that it's tough with it because I want more movies. I want to have as many of my favorite movies on 4K Blu-ray, and I spend that much money. I don't know. It's hard to justify it, especially hard to justify it to my wife. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I felt like it was really like we're finally making it to the big stage because I've had this theory for a long time. I don't know if there's ever anyone listening who owns a movie theater or anything like that, maybe who works for AMC or Regal. But I always thought it'd be really cool if, like, you go to the movies, you're there anyway, seeing a movie in movie theaters. You come outside after you finish the movie, and there's a like almost like a Blockbuster, like, but you could buy the movies, and then you just sell physical media in there. Not just like the big movies, but have like boutique labels represented. Have people walk around like a gift shop, but it's a physical media store. That way, you kind of can create new physical media fans while creating new movie fans, and it's all in one place because movies aren't the biggest thing in the world anymore like they were when I was growing up. Like movies were still really big when I was growing up. Video games were coming to the forefront, but we didn't have like, when I was young, my first console was the Super Nintendo. Like, or it really wasn't until like the Xbox 360, PS3 era where people really started getting into online gaming. It existed before, but this is when it became easier to the point, like, where now online gaming is king and single player stories are not the same anymore. But at the time, if you turned off the video games, you were really at the mercy of whatever was on TV, and it forced you to watch a lot of different movies. But you also like that trip to the Blockbuster and going to the movies. Like it felt like an escape, and it doesn't feel like today where everybody has so many options. For us to watch so many different kinds of movies at the time, it made you try things. Now it's like people can be very it's almost like they're out there with blinders, like horses with blinders on there. Like you can stay in your own little world and not even know that movies exist. And it used to be like you couldn't escape movies. Certain movies everybody had to go see, and we don't really get that really anymore. Like the last big one I can think of, like it felt like a huge event, was when Oppenheimer and Barbie came out. Like they really spun that into this huge big marketing campaign, and look how good both movies did. But people got to see the big summer popcorn flick where you could take the whole family, or you could go to a very depressing Christopher Nolan film that just happens to be one of the most beautiful looking films, and see that on the big screen as well. But then you walk out there, and then it's like, hey, you like that Christopher Nolan movie? We got plenty of them right here on beautiful 4K Blu-ray. And oh, you like that Greta Gerwig movie? Like, hey, she was in Frances Ha, the Criterion collection sitting right over here. Look at all these other Criterion movies. Like, maybe you haven't heard of these. It's like going to a bookstore, right? Like, we could do that with physical media again, make it feel important. Kind of sucks that my Barnes & Noble by me, like, kind of really has limited their physical media collection. I get jealous of Frank from Frank's Media and Reviews and see his beautiful physical media, like, collection that they have out there at his Barnes & Noble. Out here, we just don't get that. But I know I got a little bit off topic there as far as like not really covering the news, because we do have some other news. We didn't get into it. Like I said, Arrow Videos kind of hinting at this Wild Style. I've never seen this. It looks like a breakdancing movie from the early 1980s. That's the one that they're showing. That's supposedly the hint for this Friday. We're going to be talking about that's going to be their December announcement. So very curious what December is going to look like for Arrow Video. Besides, we already know that the TMNT trilogy is coming out and looks like maybe Wildstyle. But will there be any other big films in there? Probably not, if I had to guess. So December looks like a time where we can save a little bit of money, which is good because Christmas is coming around then, and we all know what that does to our wallets. It deflates them. So it'll be a different time, that's for sure. I thought it was going to be a basketball movie. Way off. You know what I thought first? I'm like, I know I'm probably wrong, but how cool would it be if that was White Men Can't Jump? I know it wasn't going to be He Got Game. I wish it was He Got Game because we do not have enough Spike Lee movies on 4K Blu-ray. But my first initial thought was, holy shit, we're getting White Men Can't Jump, because that kind of fits in like what, the 90s theme that Arrow Videos kind of had going this year. Like, we're getting to the TMNT movies and we're getting The Mask in November. I'm like, it'd be pretty cool if we're getting White Men Can't Jump. We haven't had a 4K Blu-ray upgrade of that in a very long time. Fab 5 Freddy Doc, that would have been cool too. Is that what that is? Is that it's a Fab 5 Freddy Doc? Because that, I did not know that. That would fit perfectly in Arrow, right? That does feel like an Arrow thing would be White Men Can't Jump. So, hey, I hope that we get it eventually. I don't remember the last time. I have the Blu-ray for White Men Can't Jump, and I remember I got that when I moved in this house, and it was old then. So I know it's been a pretty damn long time since White Men Can't Jump has had a 4K Blu-ray release. And He Got Game, I think, came in a double pack with the 25th Hour on Blu-ray, and I'm pretty sure that they're out of print. So we need upgrades to that. I would also like a 4K Blu-ray of Clockers. I'm just saying, if we're going to be upgrading some Spike Lee movies to 4K Blu-ray, because there are not enough of them on 4K Blu-ray. It's crazy, and we're not going to get Highest to Lowest. Let me tell you right now, like, no one's talking about that movie at all again, and that movie only came out a couple weeks ago, and that was a great film. So I don't think we'll get the physical media release of that, and we didn't get the Five Bloods because that was Netflix. I still want blue chips. Give me all the freaking. We will get blue chips one day because we got Bug. We're getting Rampage in the middle of next month, so we're getting a lot of Friedkin, and we already got To Live and Die in LA from both Arrow Video, and I have the Kino Lorber 4K Blu-ray release. Wild Style is a Fab 5 Freddy Doc. Thank you, Biotic Fire Truck. I appreciate that. So that's what that is. It's a documentary. Would you recommend that, Doc? Because I'll actually check it out if that's what it is. I didn't know that at all. Never even heard of it. So I would definitely be interested. I guess it's got to be good because if some people know about it. I had, honest to God, no idea. That's something that was completely off my radar. But I'm definitely willing to try anything, so I'll definitely check that out. But I'm curious to see what else we're going to be getting from them. Let's see what else we got. I don't know what else I put in the news. Barbarian, obviously something on the headline. That was something that was right there on the thumbnail. Barbarian, what's his name? The director, I'm drawing a blank on his name. Zepper, I don't know. Anyway, the director of Weapons that just came out. His first film was Barbarian, and Barbarian was a huge film when it came out, at least for people who got to see it on streaming services, because that's the only way you can watch that right now. It has no physical media release at all. And I guess finally, he said, he did an interview with Collider, and he said finally he's making some headway on a physical media release, probably because of the success of Weapons, if I had to guess, which makes sense. Weapons was one of the biggest surprises at the box office this year. It is a great film, in my opinion, although I had a girl at my regular Joe job come up to me today and tell me that her and her fiance went and saw Weapons in theaters, and they did not like it. So, unfortunately, not everybody likes that. I've also had somebody at my regular Joe job tell me that they also didn't like the two Oz Perkins movies that I recommended to him, Long Legs, and then most recently The Monkey. Didn't like both of them. And I know that who just popped in here, by the way. What's up, buddy? Teen Wolf, David, aka Shamrock Balls. He didn't also enjoy the Oz Perkins movies. I think he said he enjoyed The Monkey more than Long Legs. Was it the reverse? But either way, I think that's why we'll be getting Barbarian. It's because it's finally making Wild Style fits my Beat Street breaking into electric boogaloo. Okay. So I'll check it out then. That's something that maybe because like December looks like it's going to be a little bit of a slower month so far. We usually kind of go through the schedule of like what's coming out towards the end of the show, but it does look like December's maybe that's because everything we're getting in October. I mean, October is one of the most stacked months in physical media I think we've ever gotten. I think it was October of 2023 was a pretty crazy month as well, but this month, I mean, we're getting everything next month. It's impossible to get it all. Definitely going to be impossible to review it all. I'll give it my best shot, but I want to individually review every single Nightmare on Elm Street 4K Blu-ray, except for the first because I already reviewed it, but we'll do an unboxing video instead of the first one. Then we'll review them all because I do think we should concentrate on them all because eventually, just like the Sean Connery movies, they probably will get their own standalone releases, but we'll have to wait and see. But so because of Barbarian, that movie kind of was it Zach Kreger? I think that's his name. That put him on the map. This movie was phenomenal. It's not as good as Weapons. I've gone back and forth. Is Barbarian better or is Weapons better? I believe that at this point that Weapons is the better film, but Barbarian, it goes there just like freaking Barbarian goes there just like Weapons does. If you thought the end of Weapons was crazy, the end of Barbarian's pretty nuts as well. You want to get nuts? Come on. Well, they definitely get nuts in Barbarian. So I guess they're making headway. This is a Warner Brothers property. Am I correct? No, it's not, right? I don't remember who did this one. It might have been 20th Century Fox, actually. And that might be why it's buried as well. But anyway, because of that, we haven't gotten it. Which did you like more? Long Legs? Oh my God, that's a tough one because honestly, they kind of scratch the same itch for me. Both near the top of my favorite films of the years that they came out last year, being with Long Legs. I've only seen Weapons once. I've seen Long Legs 3 times. I only saw Weapons once in theaters, and I always think the true test of a film is how is it going to play at home. You watch a movie in theaters, sometimes you get wrapped up in the theatrical experience. Your phone never comes out in the theater. Your wife doesn't talk to you in the theater. You can shut her up for a little while. You can sit there and just zone out for a little bit. The dogs aren't barking. Everything's fine. So you're fully concentrated on a movie. But does that movie get its same hooks in you when you watch that at home? So I kind of want to give Weapons another shot at home. Right now, my gut is telling me to say Weapons. But I really love Long Legs. I know I'm surprised that not as many people like Long Legs as much as I do, but I really think Long Legs is great. So I don't know which way am I leaning, but I'm just really glad that we're going to be getting this. Now, does that mean we'll eventually get The Empty Man on 4K Blu-ray? I still can't believe that hasn't gotten a physical media release. And that one I think got hurt by the pandemic, if I'm correct. But that's another one I think WB has the rights to it. I don't know how we haven't gotten that on 4K Blu-ray yet either. That one is one of the best films to come out in years. Now I see people's arguments in it, but the ambition in The Empty Man is something that we spent 20 minutes before we even get the opening credits. So eventually we'll get that, I'm sure. That's all I needed to hear. Got to check out Weapons now. Oh, you haven't seen it? I thought you were asking me because you because you had an opinion on which one was better yourself. I'm very curious what people actually think of Weapons when more people. That's a 4K Blu-ray coming out next month. Right now this year, I mean, Eddington comes out next month. That's another 4K Blu-ray. Something that, hold on a second. Let me this kind of got announced last week before we, let me find them right here. Yep. Hold on a second. Because last week's show, we talked about how we're getting the entire trilogy of X, Pearl, and Maxine, the Ty West X trilogy, I guess we'll call it. How we're getting them on 4K Blu-ray. Well, wouldn't you know it? Right after the show was over last week, Second Sight decided to announce their own versions of that, only a little bit different. And here, I'll show you guys why. If I can bring up the pictures. Having a little bit of time with the processing of these. We'll see. But anyway, they don't pop up. So Second Sight's going to be giving us just Maxine and Pearl on 4K Blu-ray, not X. Apparently another studio has the rights to X on 4K Blu-ray, so that's why we can't get them. I believe Turbine did X and Pearl. I don't think they would be the ones that are interfering, but it is weird that we can't get both of those movies on 4K Blu-ray. Oh, Stone Gasman's here. What's up, buddy? Dave the Dead 4K will be awesome indeed, but what about Dawn, damn you. Damn you, Richard Ruberstein. So yeah, Richard Ruberstein, for people who don't know, he has the United States rights for Dawn of the Dead, which is why we only have that Second Sight 4K Blu-ray release here in the UK. And if you want to have it here in the United States, you have to have it imported to you. It's because that guy, for some reason, will not do anything with the rights to that film. And I will never understand why a person or a studio does this. If you don't want to do it, lend the rights out. But for whatever, why hold a film hostage? You're not getting any money having it sit there anyway. So I'll never understand the reason for that. But this is what people do. Synops would be the only one I'd trust to do it for USA. Synops would probably do a great job. Synops has done a great job. They are one of those studios, a lot like Blue Underground. They don't get their hands on a lot of films, but when they do a great job. I still haven't gotten Trick or Treat, their version of that yet on 4K Blu-ray, and I'm pretty sure you can get that. Pretty sure it's a little bit easier than this other stuff that we can't get our hands on. I can't have, for some reason, this won't load up the images of Pearl and Maxine. I'm not too sure why. Very weird, but I thought that Second Sight did a great job on these 4K Blu-rays. It's just that A24 putting them out in one trilogy and not missing a film is probably something that stands out to me. It's a little bit strange that how you have an incomplete trilogy. I don't know what's going to happen eventually. We'll have to wait and see on that one. What else did we get announced this week that we haven't talked about yet? Let me just go over here to the news. But I think we got everything as far as the news goes. I was looking yesterday to see what's coming out pretty soon that we were going to be getting on 4K Blu-ray. See if there's anything else. Anything else you guys heard about yet that I haven't discussed coming to 4K Blu-ray? I think we discussed all the big stuff. Let's go over here. I'll probably pull up the calendar on blu-ray.com and get a look and see if there's anything on there that stands out to all of us that we haven't talked about. So bear with me while I pull up the website, guys. Here we go. And I can second screen it. Stone Gas Man. Question: would you pay $79 for a 4K Blu-ray hardbox cover out of Via Vision on November 27th? For hard box coming out, but what's the movie? Is it Via Vision? I probably wouldn't spend that much. I was saying earlier, I don't know if you were of G.I. Jane. Yeah, so G.I. Jane. No, that's a movie I don't think I'll spend $80 on. That's Ridley Scott doing G.I. Jane's 4K Blu-ray, and it's beautiful, I'll admit, but that's not a movie I run back to. I mean, not many women can pull off that short hair like what's her name can, but she does a phenomenal job. I know how to 4K is up on Groovy. Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit earlier. It's only $20, I believe, which is pretty awesome. That's what Mozart's Ghost was saying. $20 for Out of Africa is pretty awesome. Like between that and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, they're actually saving us a little bit of money. And of course, if you pre-order through Groove, you usually get it a little bit early. They usually ship a week earlier. Only thing with Groove now is their checkout's completely through Shop Pay now. And it used to be they wouldn't charge you till it shipped. Now they charge you up front. So if it drops in price before, I mean, I know some people have actually gotten burned on that already, which is a little bit annoying. Demi Moore totally slapped this G.I. Jane. She didn't deserve that Razzie. No, she didn't. She gave it her all. The movie itself isn't great, but it's not like she didn't give it her. And she shaved her head. And not many women, when they shave their head, can pull it off like that. And I mean, it's Demi Moore. Like, she pulls off the freaking little boy bowl cut and goes pretty damn well as well. But hey, not many people give her credit. I like Demi Moore, and like, look at what she did last year. Finally got her flowers showing. Because I didn't realize people never really thought of Demi Moore as a good actress. I was always like, she gets a little bit annoying in A Few Good Men, but Demi Moore, besides being beautiful, obviously, phenomenal actress. I thought we were all on the same page on that, but I guess not. Definitely something that only some of us could agree on. Let's go over here. I'll share the screen with you guys. Go over to blu-ray.com, see if there's anything of note. Right up top, you can see some sales. So UF571's already $30. The Mask, $35. Outlaw, $32. $50 for the Steelbook of Labyrinth. Hard Boiled. Now, I haven't pre-ordered this yet, the 4K Blu-ray. When is this coming out? Is this October as well? I was hoping this was November. Let me see if they have the release date. But yeah, I'm waiting on this one. $50 is a little bit tough right now, even though I already know it's Hard Boiled, so I'm going to end up getting Hard Boiled on 4K Blu-ray. So that's something that will definitely be going into the collection at some point. We've been waiting a long time for that. Arrow Video, I'm sure, will be doing their own version of that if you live in the UK or a different region. So this will be this is just the Hong Kong film collection that they're doing now, Shout Factory. And so when you go back, though, oh, here we go. 4K Blu-ray, November 4th is what it says. So coming out pretty soon after you get destroyed in October. Go to the 4K release calendar. Let's see if there's anything new for November. So yeah, right there. So this month I've been looking at early November, November 4th. Like, what do I want to do? Um, Definitely think I might end up getting the Breakfast Club and Hard Boiled. I'm just waiting to see if Hard Boiled drops. I would be a little bit happier for under $40. Definitely not for 50. I don't have the Breakfast Club in my 4K collection, so or in my Blu-ray collection rather. So it's definitely something I'm looking forward to adding. Groove canceled one of my orders for using the 20% coupon more than once. That new checkout system is tough. Oh, they figured it out. I mean, you had to figure they were going to come around eventually. All you had to do was keep creating a brand new email address. And I know I use my wife's and her email addresses a couple times. You know, all new customers get 20% off a Groove. And you had to figure at some point they were going to catch on, just like Netflix password sharing. You know, they figure us out. You can't get too upset, though. I don't know for Sounds of Music. I think I'll just wait for a sale. I'm not the world's biggest Sound of Music fan, so you know they can. This is one thing why you should follow, you know, all different YouTube channels, not just my YouTube channel, because I can't review everything, and all those other YouTube channels can't review everything either. So, like Frank from Frank's Media and Reviews, Frank reviewed Superman on 4K Blu-ray. I felt like I could wait for a sale on that, but hey, if you want a review from somebody who's good at doing reviews, Frank's got one. There's plenty of people I'm sure who are going to be reviewing Sound of Music. You probably want to hear from somebody who's not going to be starting the review off with, I'm not a big fan of musicals, but that's probably how I'll start that on off. Watched Hard Boiled 4K digitally last week. Looked great. Can't wait for the disc. Yeah, I'm trying to save myself, Brent. I'm waiting for for the physical media release, even though I know I can watch that beautiful digital scan right now. And I'm tempted. Hard Boiled is one of the best action films of all time. Oh my god, and had four four sister margaritas. Totally worth it. Massive applause at the end. It's beloved. Yeah. Don't let me be the person to tell you that The Sound of Music isn't a good film, because I'm not going to do it. It is a good film, just not my kind of film. But I understand why it's a beloved classic. I understand why people are super excited for that this week. I just wish I could say that I was one of them. I believe me, it does feel like I'm missing out a little bit. The Breakfast Club Criterion 4K is worth owning for the bonus features and the restoration. I have the Blu-ray version, and it looked its best it's ever been. So that's what's going to sell me on that. I don't know if I've told you guys the story, but that's my dad's favorite film. My dad's not the world's biggest film fan, but I always felt like he was somebody who loved that movie, mainly because of he probably relates to it. My father graduated from high school in 1984. That came out in 1985. So I guess he probably could relate a lot to the high school characters in it, but it was always a film that I saw so much when I was a kid, because my dad only likes like 15 movies. So obviously he was going to watch The Breakfast Club a lot. As I've become an adult myself, I've only probably watched it like 4 or 5 times. So it's not one I run back to, but I'm pretty excited to revisit it. It's been so long. Actually not that long. It's probably been like 4 years, but I'm excited. You know, sometimes a brand new 4K restoration is all the doctor needs, all the doctor needs to write a prescription for. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up getting that in Hard Boiled for that week. This one, I pre-ordered the first chance I get. I pre-ordered it through Arrow, one of my most anticipated 4K Blu-ray releases ever. So I am super excited. I was surprised to see that not as many people were as excited about The Mask as I was. You know, I get it. There's not probably the world's probably not full of, you know, super The Mask fans, but I am. I'm like, I can't actually believe that The Mask is getting an Arrow Video 4K Blu-ray release. Like I never thought I would see the day. I mean, the same thing happened with Spawn. Like I'm like, I can't believe Spawn has this beautiful 4K restoration. It's not for everybody, but for the ones out there, for the real ones, that's one we couldn't wait for. I want to go visit the Breakfast Club library. Wonder if it is still the same. If it doesn't have the neon blue lights at the top near the glass, just walk out, because obviously they don't care about anything. John Doe Juggalo's here. What's up, buddy? I'm glad you can make it in here, Jeff. Hey, Mr. Smelly Potato. So look at that. Some of the big channel members popping in here. Channel director, channel producer, John Doe Juggalo. Great YouTube channel as well. And of course, our channel bankroll member, Mr. Smelly Potato. Just an all-around great guy. I bet The Mask will look great in 4K with all the colors. Yeah, that's what I'm banking on. That film, beautiful. You know, came out at a time like when movies had like a certain style to it. And don't forget about like what I consider to be the greatest musical scene in film history. And I'm not afraid to say it, being the Cuban Pete scene in that movie. I'm Cuban Pete, cause I'm the king of a rumba beat. When I play my maracas, I go chick chicky boom, chick chicky boom. Aight. All right, my work here is done. The stars have arrived. Yeah, all the big boys, all the players are here. Thanks for the shout out. Anytime, buddy. More people need to know about you. Let's continue on the mask. So the mask, obviously, I'm very excited, as you can tell. That's also coming out. So I believe this Reanimator 4K Blu-ray is the standard release, based on that price. I might grab that. I might just grab because I didn't get it when it came out initially, and that's more of a fair price. This is kind of what I was waiting for, is to drop that. I didn't expect it to drop below $40, so that kind of makes sense where it's at. And that's probably what I'll end up grabbing it at, is at that price. I love Reanimator. It's just that I already have the Arrow Video Blu-ray, and it was kind of hard to justify it. But coming out around spooky season, I think it makes a little bit more sense. I really want that mask for, buddy. I don't think it's gonna let us down. Like, I think there's not many 4K Blu-rays I could say ahead of time are gonna be a hit, are going to be good, but I think that one's it. Now, here's One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. This 4K Steelbook, like I haven't chosen yet. I haven't pre-ordered if I'm going to get the Steelbook or the standard, because here's what the standard looks like. No, I think both artwork is good, not great. I don't know which version I'm going to end up going with yet. Either way, or that's something that's a must own. Day one 4K Blu-ray release for me. What else are we getting? Like, there's the Naked Gun remake that's coming out. Here's one I'll definitely be getting on 4K Blu-ray 100%. House Party. I told you guys, I think a couple weeks ago when we were talking about this, when me and my wife first started dating, we were watching all the House Party movies and we were watching Class Act, and they're not on physical media. Like, I think the last time all those movies were on physical media was on DVD. So to get House Party on 4K Blu-ray now, obviously it's Criterion collection, so they deemed the original House Party to be like culturally significant. I don't think there are probably people who are going to be giving us the sequels 2 and 3 on 4K Blu-ray, which is a shame because I think House Party 3 is an underrated sequel, mainly because Bernie Mac is fucking awesome. So I'm excited. I was actually going to pre-order The Mask Friday. Can't wait. Yeah, that's one of my most anticipated ever, buddy. So definitely something like that. That's definitely something I can probably recommend. Like I said, I think it'll be good. Spotlight. This is speaking of depressing movies to watch. This is one that's definitely a little bit depressing. 10th anniversary edition. Now, the thing with this is a Shout Select release. I already have the Blu-ray. I'm pretty sure this was shot digitally. I don't know if it's going to be a huge upgrade over the Blu-ray. That wasn't done by Shout, but I don't know if I can justify jumping the 4K Blu-ray. I will admit, Spotlight, great film. Make sure to leave a thumbs up for my man here. Thanks, Stone Gas, man. I do appreciate that, man. I really, if you guys could do that, that would help me out a lot. Was a well-deserved Best Picture winner. Absolutely. Like, I actually was going to revisit Spotlight, so I'm kind of stuck in between now. Do I get the 4K Blu-ray because I was going to rewatch it anyway, or do I stick to that Blu-ray? November, not as crazy of a month as October, so there's a good chance I might end up pre-ordering this. I don't know. I do like rewatching Spotlight, as weird as that is. Sometimes a depressing movie, if the acting is so goddamn good, it could pull you back in. I think you guys probably know I'm a huge fan of the film Philadelphia. It's about a man dying of AIDS and being basically, put through the system by his job because they couldn't handle a gay man, and a gay man with AIDS at that in the early 1990s. One of the most depressing films you'll ever watch. It's actually one that I've rewatched a lot. So sometimes a depressing film, if it's good enough, can get you. And definitely Philadelphia has always been one of those movies that can get me, as strange as that may be. Jeff, would you say The Mask is $35 on Amazon right now? Yeah, it's not. That's a pretty damn good price, in my opinion. I wish Spotlight got more respect, since more call it a lame Best Picture winner, since it was up against the Revenant, Mad Max Fury Road that year. So I personally thought Spotlight deserved that. I don't really love The Revenant. I don't know if that, like, I love the cinematography in The Revenant. I get why Leonardo DiCaprio finally got his Academy Award for The Revenant, but it just feels like one of those deflating Best Actor Award winners. Like Leonardo DiCaprio, that's not, in my opinion, even in his top 5 best performances. I can appreciate what Leonardo DiCaprio put himself through for that performance, but I don't think that's it. And even like recently when he was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, like I felt like his performance in that movie got kind of overshadowed by Brad Pitt's performance as Cliff Booth, and he won the Academy Award, and well deserved. But I just feel like Leonardo DiCaprio also gave a phenomenal performance, and sometimes I just feel like he doesn't get appreciated enough. And I felt like that was kind of one of the things with him. And The Revenant, I'm glad they gave it to him. And Mad Max Fury Road, I've told you guys in the past, I'm not a big fan of Mad Max Fury Road. Not really a big fan of that franchise. But still most Oscars that year with 6 wins. Yeah, I'm not the world's biggest Mad Max Fury Road fan, but like that one, can you argue with any of the below the line Oscar award winning that was one of the best looking films that year. The cinematography was incredible, the direction from George Miller was incredible. That's something you have to admire as well. I have never seen a lot of early Leo, like What's Eating Gilbert Grape or Basketball Diaries is one of my all-time favorite Leonardo DiCaprio films. Mark Wahlberg's first performance. That's actually one of the most underrated films in general, in my opinion. Don't know why people don't really love the Basketball Diaries. It's just called Basketball Diaries. Don't know why I threw those out in front of us. Based on Jim Caviezel, based true story, by the way. Leonardo DiCaprio plays an incredible kid addicted to drugs. I don't know if you've ever seen anyone addicted to drugs, but I actually do a pretty damn good job on the accuracy on that. So I never got why the hate for that. And The Revenant is overrated. Thank you, Stone Gas Man. I'm glad we can agree. Try Critters 3. That's a good early Leo performance as well. What's the one with Robert De Niro? That one's a little bit dark. That one I probably will never revisit. He plays a shitty stepdad. Yeah, George Miller deserved the best director. Yeah, I personally, if I was going to give best director that year, I wouldn't give Mad Max Fury Road best picture. I still think Spotlight was the well-deserved best picture that year, but I don't think that I do think George Miller probably should have won best director. I think he earned it that year. And if you were ever going to recognize George Miller for something, that was the time. What was the movie he did a few years ago that didn't get enough love with Idris Elba? And what's her name? 30,000 or 3,000 Years of Longing. I think it was good. Oh, I got my tickets for Friday, Mr. Smelly Potato, for One Battle After Another. Him and Tiana Taylor in a Paul Thomas Anderson movie. I'm trying to get Faith to at least watch one PTA movie with me before we go and see that, because I want her to know what she's getting into. She thinks she's just going to see a Leonardo DiCaprio movie, or she's going to see a Tiana Taylor movie. I'm like, you got to see it's Paul Thomas Anderson. You got to appreciate what you're going to see. And obviously, I'm not going to show her The Master or anything like that, but there's some other stuff out there we can get into. If Basketball Diaries is the hour video announcement that's Friday, I'm totally getting it. I hope. Imagine I would lose my mind. I don't think it's gonna be it, but I would lose my mind. Honestly, Basketball Diaries 2 is the perfect movie to watch this time of the year. I haven't seen it in a couple of years, but Ernie Hudson's awesome in that movie. Ernie Hudson, we talked most underrated and underrated actors and actresses yesterday. Ernie Hudson is a very underrated actor. Never understood why that guy didn't get the love he deserved. Between Basketball Diaries and The Crow, he gives some great supporting performances in the not very well remembered films. Drives me crazy sometimes because he's a fantastic actor. Some really want the beach on 4K. I'd be down. I mean, I'd be down too if we got the beach on 4K. Blue. That's another one on Earl. That's the Leo kind of, but that one came out right after, I think that was his next film after Titanic, when he was on top of the world. I'm the king of the world. And it's funny because he really is a much better actor after I would say once we get up to The Aviator. I always felt like Leonardo DiCaprio was a little bit miscast in Gangs of New York, but that was the first time he worked with Martin Scorsese. Came out around the same time as Catch Me If You Can. Actually, might have came out the same month. And he's so much better and better cast than Catch Me If You Can. It just felt like Leo was always missing a little bit. And then he became one of the best actors of all time when he started really accepting roles that really showed off his chops. He was somebody who never got involved in the superhero films or anything like that. He's always kind of just been he chooses his roles wisely. And I think he's one of the best actors of all time. And a lot of that's for what he's done in the last 20 years. I lost all respect for the Academy Awards when they ignored ignored Toni Collette in Hereditary, the most offensive snub since Anthony Perkins in Psycho. Man, I am right on the same page with you, but I also knew they were going to do that. Toni Collette absolutely not only should have been nominated that year, but she should have won. But I knew they were going to ignore Hereditary. I mean, they're finally kind of noticing Ari Aster a little bit more, but Hereditary was still his best film. And yeah, Toni Collette goes into that movie and steals the entire entire thing with a heartbreaking performance, and the movie itself is phenomenal. But yeah, no, I mean, the Academy is going to do what the Academy does, and that means they're going to ignore a lot of great films, which is a shame. What are your PTA movie rankings? Ooh, let me do that in a second. White Men Can't Jump, coming to Arrow. That's what we were talking about. Is it going to be that? I think people are predicting that it's going to be the I don't know how people know it actually, but they're saying it's going to be the Wild Side film documentary, the Five Finger, whatever. I know I'm pronouncing it wrong. The Five Finger Doc. Unfortunately, so I don't know. Who would you rather go with? Cruise? Who would you rather go on a cruise with? Tony Montana or Ethan Hunt? Ethan Hunt. If I'm going with Tony Montana, he's gonna get us freaking killed. Hey, Stacy. That's from Tony Montana, but only if his sister's coming too. Why would you want his sister to come with you, Mozart's Ghost? Did you know the last guy to cross his sister? You don't go near his sister. I know his sister is Mary Elizabeth Master Antonia. Everybody knew it was Master Elizabeth Master Antonia, but Tony was not happy about that. You did not. You have lost your mind. Like, do not go near that man's sister. Never. Of all the people. So for PTA, I guess I'll just go down on top of my head. I'm still Boogie Nights at number 1, and There Will Be Blood at number 2. But I'd put The Master at number 3. I think that movie's coming around. It's a masterpiece in my mind. At number 4, I think I might put Phantom Thread. I really enjoyed that movie. Number 5, probably Punch Drunk Love. Inherent Vice at number 6. What am I missing here? I think I nailed them all except for his first movie, right? Magnolia. I put Magnolia pretty low. I know people love Magnolia, and I'm watching a lot of Robert Altman films, and you can clearly tell that Robert Altman has a huge influence on Paul Thomas Anderson. But Magnolia goes as great as there are some great performances in that movie. Tom Cruise might have gave his best performance. I do put that movie still a little bit low. And then his first movie, Heart 8, which is really, really, really good as well. But still, it's almost like a proof of concept kind of thing. Is it Perfect Gateway underrated? I'd say so. I see Oliver Stone's final film, Snowden, is coming to Shout 4K. Seeing it for the first time next week as I'm wrapping up his rankings, Shouts and Alex, which you're the only reason I still go on Twitter /X buddy, because of I like to read your reviews. Otherwise, I don't really even go on there. But I really enjoy it when you do those challenges and talk a little bit about each movie. So definitely keep doing those. I strictly go there just for your content at this point. But yeah, I love doing that. And yeah, I never saw Snowden either. And Snowden's an interesting one because it's one of those things where the documentary is probably better than the actual film. And that's kind of what stopped me from watching that movie, because the documentary, I think, will explore it a little bit better. It's the same reason the Smashing Machine coming out next in a couple weeks. I never saw the documentary on that guy. I don't know anything about him. I've heard the name because of UFC and everything like that, but I don't know anything about the character that The Rock is playing. So I'm going to get to go into that movie without knowing anything, which is good, because I feel like if I saw a documentary on the character, on the actual real person, it might actually hurt the film for me. I'm actually kind of happy about that. I don't know how you guys feel about those kinds of things. I do need to dive into Robert Altman series on Criterion Channel, since he would have turned 100 years old if still alive. Isn't that crazy about Robert Altman? The power of weed is what I believe. He lived that long. But yeah, Robert Altman, man, he's watching. This is something from The Ringer. They did a Robert Altman rankings a few weeks ago, and of course, because I listen to podcasts too and everything, puts you in the mood, and then that's what made me subscribe to the Criterion Channel. And then I just been watching, all of Robert Altman's movies right now. Having a freaking blast. It's like your own little mini marathon. I'm surprised they were talking about in that Ringer podcast that Shortcuts doesn't have isn't on there as well, and it's really hard to find. I have Shortcuts on Criterion Blu-ray, so I'm a little bit confused as to why they wouldn't even have that. I'm on that collection, especially since it came directly from them. Stacey, what other 90s movies should get a special edition? Ooh, besides the ones we were talking about, like I said, I'm a love of Basketball Diaries one. That would be awesome. I Dumb and Dumber. Dumb and Dumber is one of my all-time favorite. It is my all-time favorite comedy. I would love a special edition of that. Men in Black, I would love I just rewatched that again. One of the best films of the 90s. Has a 4K Blu-ray release from Sony. It's pretty good, but I would actually really love a nice special edition of that as well. Trying to think going through the 90s, man. We got Dark City already. what are some classic films that we have gotten? Dumb and Dumber. See, we're right on the same page, Mozart. That's it. I'm trying to think what else we could get on 4K that we haven't gotten on 4K Blu-ray. One thing, they've been definitely filling our collections up, that's for sure. They've been pretty much hitting them all. Like we got The Crow, like that's a 4K Blu-ray I never really expected as well. The Player, I want a Criterion 4K Blu-ray of The Player. That's what I would love to upgrade. Continuing down in November, plenty. Red Planet's one I know a lot of people are excited for. A Better Tomorrow trilogy on 4K Blu-ray. I'll definitely end up getting that, but probably in a sale. Paul on 4K. Casino, I don't love this steelbook, but I know people are excited about that. And then we go down here, November 25th, the big one, Eyes Wide Shut on 4K Blu-ray. That's one of the biggest releases that we've ever gotten. That'll just almost close out the entire Stanley Kubrick collection. All we are going to need is Lolita after that, which eventually we'll get Lolita. Let's see what's Stone Gas Man. The first 90s movies I can think of that deserve a special edition is Gross Point Blank. Something on the Criterion channel right now, actually. Gross Point Blank is phenomenal. I'm not a big John Cusack fan, but my God, I love that movie. Jeremy Piven's great in that movie. That's definitely one of the night. Great soundtrack as well. That one Cure song in the beginning playing. Ruby can't fail. Yeah. Man, Gross Point Blank. That's a good one. Haven't seen that one yet. I definitely would love to get that. The Sandlot. Heard rumors of a 4K Blu-ray about that. Don't know why we haven't gotten that one yet. Hopefully we get that one pretty soon. You know, the room. That's definitely one. Mighty Ducks collection would be pretty damn cool as well. Also, what about Bob? Would be nice. What about Bob? I feel like it's kind of gotten forgotten about. And speaking of that, how about Bill Murray's Quick Change? I never hear anyone ever bring up Quick Change anymore. Would love Quick Change. That's the only movie that Bill Murray ever directed, even though he co-directed it. But Randy Quaid in that movie, what's her name, is in that as well. Gina Davis, love that movie. I would love Quick Change if we could ever get something like that. Hey, Tim's Adventure. I'm glad. I love, man. What's up, buddy? Glad you could pop in here. Big time 80s guy. We talk 80s all the time. I know Lolita's coming next year from Criterion since the Venice Film Festival premiere the 4K restoration of that movie. Yeah, I was wondering if I knew we were getting it. You're definitely 100% right that we're going to get it through the Criterion collection, and then we'll have every Stanley Kubrick movie on 4K Blu-ray that I can finally make my list ranking all of his movies on 4K Blu-ray. Maybe I'm sentimental, but I like The American President from 1995. Michael Douglas and Annette Bening had chemistry. Dude, you're not being... That's Robert Reiner. I love The American President. I wish we had a president like Michael Douglas. We've never had a president like Michael Douglas, but that movie is phenomenal. No, that's written by Aaron Sorkin, The American President. Oh my God, that movie is great. The speech at the very end. I'm like that too, though. I admit I get very sentimental about things as well. So I would definitely be very, 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 very interested if that got a 4K Blu-ray release. I'm surprised we never really hear about that one anymore, which is Make River Wild special edition. Hell yeah, why not? I got Quick Chase on Warner Archive Blu-ray. Sadly, bare bones. Yeah, a lot of the... Like My Judgment Night is a Warner Archive Blu-ray, and yeah, they used to be very... It's funny because Warner Archives, they're doing like those like once a month big releases, and they're giving you everything. Like that's like their boutique level releases. They used to just put those out like, hey, at least here's the Blu-ray for you guys. So, Quick Change though, I always enjoyed that movie. If you go on my regular personal Facebook, you can see that him on the train used to be one of my profile pictures for a very long time. Always loved it. Home Alone and Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dad's for Home Alone we'll never get it, but yeah, that one is 100% something we deserve on 4K Blu-ray and a beautiful collector's edition. Get in the works. Unfortunately, the major studios don't do it like the boutique studios. That's why we're kind of lucky, like with movies like The Mask, like because of that New Line deal, we're getting these Warner Brothers owned films, but we're getting it through Arrow Video. So we're very, very, very fortunate in that sense. Who done a commentary do you want to do higher for? Who that has not yet? Okay, not done a commentary. I don't really know who people. I don't know off the top of my head. I think the Ringer guys. I think you talked about earlier. I would love to see them do one on what's up, buddy? I would love to see them do one on a commentary track because I love them, like Chris Ryan and Sean Fantasy. Would love to see them do it. Coach Carter would definitely be a good one, 110%. Are the Warner Archive Forte disc or disc MOD on Blu-ray or present? I don't think so. I think they're just strictly. I don't think they have anything on like that. They're just their 4K Blu-rays are once a month, and they. I don't remember if they. I don't think they think it's just one disc, but they got that new one coming out pretty soon as well. Warner Archive. I haven't gotten the Get Carter one. I don't even remember anyone doing a review on that. I still only have the one Warner Archive 4K Blu-ray, and that's the Searchers. But from what I've heard, the ones that they have put out have all matched up in quality to that. I haven't looked at them personally that much myself, which is something I would like to do. They're just very, very expensive, so I have to like kind of justify picking them up. And let's just get an early look at December. Got some time before this comes to 4K. Oh, His Girl Friday on 4K Blu-ray. Now I already have this on 4K Blu-ray. Is this? Tell me that this is the other one. So are they going to be putting out this? Okay, that is Criterion. All right, but I have the Sony 4K Blu-ray that came in the collection, so there's no reason for me to be getting that. December 9th, Catch Me If You Can and Minority Report. Those are both day one, even though I don't imagine they'll be the best 4K Blu-rays because they're coming from Paramount. But hey, definitely really excited about that. And then TMNT is the big one at the middle of the month. But we haven't gotten too many crazy announcements. Well, just still coming. Still very, very, very early. So anyway, I think that's actually what is your favorite DVD 4-pack? I don't know if I have too many DVD 4-packs. Definitely not anymore. I like that Kurt Russell 4-pack has Unlawful Entry and Soldier. That's one thing that's pretty cool. It's like you might get like a group of movies that don't really have like the biggest physical media releases. Usually they'll throw those in a 4-pack. I know somebody was talking about a Gene Hack before. It might have actually been on the Physical Media podcast. I heard from the Ringer, the Physical Media boys, the unboxing boys. So not entirely the high council, so haven't really gotten too much from them. Too many DVD 4-packs rather. And yeah, that's like pretty much it. But anyway, guys, that's gonna probably do it here for me on another one of these live shows. Oh yeah, 90s movies. Can't forget about the Rock 20th Century Fox film that we haven't gotten on 4K Blu-ray yet. One day we will get that on 4K Blu-ray. That might get like the Disney treatment where it's a once, hey, it's getting this limited 4K steelbook release. I hope they don't go that route, but I imagine Armageddon came out from the Criterion collection once, and so did The Rock. So maybe one day we'll get those from the Criterion collection again. Like, go back to your roots, Criterion. You're getting Pee-wee's Big Adventure in there. You've released Wall-E. Like, you can give us The Rock. You can give us Armageddon on 4K Blu-ray. Why not? I think we would all appreciate that. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it here for me on another one of these. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I love doing this show. It's actually having a lot of fun doing this each and every single week with you guys. Next week, we'll probably have a lot more news than we did this week, but I thought we still had a pretty good time. I got some shows coming up here on the channel. Tomorrow, you guys will be able to see me and Dennis's Hocus Pocus review, on Flashback Films. On Friday, Judgment Night. David and I will be talking, and then I should have a review for you guys for the new Paul Thomas Anderson movie, One Battle After Another, on Saturday. If not Saturday morning, then Sunday morning, but shooting for Saturday morning. But we'll definitely wait and see on that. So definitely got a lot coming down the pipe. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoy your night, and I'll be seeing you guys next week live. I'll see you on the channel the rest of the week. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends about us, and we'll be seeing you around.